Elsie, Ryan showed up to support his friend Willie Geist for his 10-year anniversary there. Let's talk about
Are
how...
they married?
Yeah, are they married? You have an unbelievable theory as to how Ryan Reynolds can look like he's supporting his wife, but not actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
I,
First of all, how are you? I miss you.
I'm great. I'm so glad to see you. You are
I miss you
relentless.
too, Steve.
Are you going to be in New York for this trial? Are you going to New York for the trial?
Where else would I be? Being a mother? No.
Be a mother?
What am
No.
I going to do? Be a mother? No. The boy is fine with his father. I'm leaving them here and I'm going to New York.
Explain your theory to people, because I think it's pretty new. It's pretty good. Like, because Ryan Reynolds, like I said at the top of the show, he's the smartest, wittiest, most creative, conniving guy in the room. And normally, he could outsmart anybody. But unfortunately, there are way too many prying eyes right now, and two of them belong to you. So,
yeah.
Explain.
So in the beginning, remember like when depositions were happening, when Ryan could have actually been a witness way back when Wayfair would have had a chance to depose him, where everybody could have seen all sides of him, he backed out. He said, actually, no. Well, Blake said, I'm not going to list him as a witness. And then there's the spousal privilege to think about and everything. So it wasn't that big of a red flag then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to settlement talks. He doesn't even show up to do the perp walk with her. And then you're not in court with her. We know her mahjong set was with her. The bodyguard and the driver was with her. You were somewhere in Vancouver chopping wood or something, we don't know, or hanging out with Hugh Jackman.
And Emily Baldoni was very much with her husband, Justin. They walked in together,
Attached.
a united front, very much in love.
At the hip. Steve Sarwart's wife was present. Emily Baldoni was present. Jamie Heath's wife was present. Everybody who was anybody's spouse was there, but the victim, which is very bizarre. And then, I mean, she had her backpack and her second handbag as her emotional support. So maybe that's all she needed. But I was thinking, well, where is this man? Nobody knew where he was. And then all of a sudden last week, they throw him on a witness list. And initially I was mad at myself because I didn't think about this, but my comment section kept going, Elsie, think, why else would you be a witness? And then I realized if you're a witness, you can't be in court hearing all the testimony because it's going to color your testimony, right? So all the witnesses that are listed are not going to be in court every day. They cannot sit behind Blake every day. They can only come to court the days they're testifying. And if I'm Blake, and if I'm Ryan, actually, I'm pulling the lawyers to the side. Hey, let's put me on a list. Let's put me on a list to support Blake. Except I'm never going to testify. I'm probably going to be the last to say anything.
He gets the PR. He gets the public. He gets the PR, the good PR for he's going to be a witness and stand up for his wife. Now, okay, let's get the. But you're saying because of that, he doesn't need to be he can't be in the courtroom listening to other people's testimony. Him soaking that up could taint what he has to say. It could it could discolor the case. So I can't be in there yet. Now, when it gets down the road, we assume he's not one of the first witnesses. He may have a nice little exit door.
They may definitely leave him last because of the spousal situation, right? And then last minute, they could just say, we don't need him because, again, Wayfair never got to depose him. And I think that's going to be their backdoor they're going to use because Wayfair never got to depose Ryan, as much as they don't know what they want to ask him because they don't have like a precursor, they don't have the pre-answers they need. It's also a way for Blake's team to cover their butts and say, you know what, we don't want to risk putting Ryan on the stand without him being deposed because Wayfair could throw him for a loop, which again, he was never going to be on that stand. Let's get it together. But I've seen enough crime shows, Billy. You know me. I'm ready. That's what's happening here. They don't ever plan to put that man on that stand. Because again, even if you did put him on there, it is a reality that Wayfair never deposed him. It could be a benefit for Blake, but also a detriment to her because he was never deposed. You don't know what he's going to say when he's on that stand.
And there's so many texts out there of him pulling strings behind the scenes that, I mean, he does not want this. And by the way, I picked up some insider info of the last couple of days. I'll get to it in a second about what his mindset is. Comes from an excellent place. Now that Blake's claims of sexual harassment get thrown out by the judge, right? It's all about retaliation. Accordingly, she has adjusted her messaging, right? She was retaliated against for speaking up about the inappropriate conditions on set. What is central to Blake's motive here is the idea that all of her bad press was inflicted upon her. Events manufactured or dug up and pushed on the public. So the idea that she was, smeared. What is absent is any accountability and responsibility for her own actions. The idea that any of these wounds could be self-harvested is completely foreign to her. Not foreign to those lobbying, to just do something. The texts, okay? So what Blake and Ryan are up against are their own text messages, and the text between, but also those of others, right? The text between Sony Executive Vice President, Chief Communications Officer Tara Grant, and her boss, the Motion Picture Group President at Sony at the time, Josh Greenstein. They're profoundly unhelpful to Blake's breathless campaign to prove that she's a victim. In August of 2024, Tara Grant wrote in a message that Blake had orchestrated all this drama in a totally unsavvy and amateur way. That's not helpful. Put her on the witness list. And basically, she threatened Sony, adding that Blake was now mad it backfired on her. Now, Tara was one of these just many Sony executives whose private communications became public through the court proceedings. Other executives, were equally blunt. You remember Sony CEO Tom Rothman, the boss at Sony, said she, quote, brought it all on herself, while another executive, Ange Giannetti, called Blake a terrorist. Oh, my God. I'm going to tell you, Brian Friedman was so smart, Baldoni's lawyer, to get all this stuff and get it out there. All the top executives on record basically just saying, girl, it's you. Now, the mercurial Ryan Reynolds, he fired back at Sony executives, and those texts are visible, calling them all effing textbook ineffectual elderly people with no ideas or thoughtful communication skills. That's really not helpful. See, and the receipts ain't receding, okay? There are so many damning ones that'll be called, okay? How about the text messages involving, that Blake sent, acknowledging that her edit of the movie got lower test scores. She said, we'll get them up. Written, all of this, we'll get them up. Baldoni's cut scored 20% higher in the excellent rating and 15% higher in the definite recommends. And one editor noted that Blake scored higher with men because her cut focused more on Blake herself in the sexy tops. So the guys were like, yeah, we like this version better. Only that group, isn't that good? Men is not the target audience of this film. But she is hot, and we have to admit that. So, hats off. Now, some insider info I picked up over the last few days. Blake is dug in. She's very dug in on this. She's over $50 million in on the lawsuit. This guy next to her husband, has a ton of money. She's so dug in, she missed or defiantly blew off the easy off-ramp in all of this, which could have saved her basically descent into career obliteration. She missed the one exit door that could have saved face in all of this and gotten her out of it. I'm not going to go into what that is, but there was one move to make on this very depressing chessboard, and she missed it. We'll share that closer to trial. Ryan knows this won't end well. He's over it, basically. You won't hear much more from him. That orchestrated thing with Willie Geist is about it. Will he sit beside her in the trial? Elsie's theory is pretty great. I don't think so. Damned if he does, but more damned if he doesn't, right? If I'm Ryan, I know it's bad, but you kind of have to be there in some way for your wife, or women are in general going to be like, okay, she's crazy. She trumped up this whole thing, but dude, that's your wife. You have to be there with her. An industry heavyweight who's worked a lot with Ryan Reynolds thinks that he actually survives all of this, but Blake's career is over. And I can tell you this, she's not invited to Taylor Swift's wedding. They are done, those two. Gigi and Bradley Cooper, done. All these relationships, done for putting these people in the spotlight that they did not want. And one final note from that sit down with Willie Geist, that interview, in regards to Deadpool, right, and his future film career, a brilliant answer by Ryan Reynolds. He is a very intelligent guy, right? He said, well, what's the future of Deadpool? And Ryan says, I don't think I'm ever going to center him again. He's a supporting character. He's a guy who's great in a group, you know, like an anti-hero. It's his movie, Ryan, right? So he gets most of the money. But the other names on the marquee, you know, would be great camouflage, right? Deadpool could cross into Avengers territory, fantastic. Thor territory. Ryan has said before, Deadpool always needs to stay an outsider. His ultimate dream is to be accepted and appreciated. Bang! There you go. He's going to be fine. His wife is not, because he can put together these movies and just be one person, not the top name on the marquee. So anyone who's, you know, going to retaliate against Ryan for all that he did here, if his name was number one above the title on the marquee, it might take a hit. But why risk, right? You can get in there with all the other big stars and just be a role, do that a couple of films, and then you're back. He's a smart guy.